3, 2, 1. Hey guys, it's Will from Not an Expert. This is my first YouTube channel. Hey guys, this is Will from Not an Expert. How do people do this? How do people do this every day? Whoa, what am I getting myself into? Hey guys, Will here. I just wanted to do my review on the first 3D printer that I've owned, and it's the JGAurora A5S. I've done 3 different models on it, about 5 prints total. One, as you guys know, is the test print that I posted onto Facebook, right here. And it was kind of a benchmark test to show how much my printer could do. And as you guys saw, since it was my first print, there were a lot of mistakes that happened, or not mistakes, but the printer just wasn't set up correctly, so it failed in a lot of the tests on here, like the stringing. I actually believe that that's normal, but the lettering that is supposed to be detailed in it, if you guys can see that, I don't know if it'll focus. It's just it wasn't filled in right. I ended up stopping the print early anyway because all I had to do was the overhang, and it got to 45 degrees, which I thought was pretty impressive actually. Once I found out, the settings to get it to start to print, I just went along and started the banana holder, and it actually turned out really well. I did sand it down when I post the pictures. Or actually, by now you guys should have seen the pictures of it on my Facebook or Instagram or wherever I posted. Now, the printer itself has been... I've been still struggling with getting the times down because in total, the banana holder probably took about 20 hours, maybe. This includes the base here that actually comes apart. So yeah, it's definitely, and that's with a lower resolution setting. So, I found that if you increase or decrease the layer height, so you guys can see definitely, I hope you can see there's lines right here going up or going across where it printed. One, it makes it so it's not as stable, which is kind of a bummer. I was a little worried about it breaking when putting a bundle of bananas on it, but you can definitely tell, and it still took that long to print. So there's definitely things I want to work on more in getting these settings right. The third thing I printed was a storage container, and it turned out pretty well too. I mean, this is without sanding it, without clipping it down. It is pretty brittle. The infill was at like 10%, which means inside of this wall, it's technically, there's 2 walls here. It printed 2 walls, and it's hollow, so you can kind of pinch them together. You guys won't be able to see it, but it makes it very flimsy. So, and that wasn't the purpose of it. I mean, it's not going to undergo a lot of stress, I'm assuming, but overall, you can still see the layer lines and everything. I'm not disappointed. It's my first 3D printer, and this is the first time I've ever printed anything, so I'm actually pretty happy, and it was relatively cheap. I've been looking up 3D printers for a long time, and this one was about $400, about $500 with all the materials and some of the tools that I had to get. A few things that I wanted to go over that have happened. When I initially started, you can see here and here, that first base layer did not extrude properly, which caused it to warp right here. It didn't stick to the build plate. I was trying to print at about 30 millimeters per second, and I slowed it way down to about, I think it was 10 or 15 millimeters per second. I actually changed the settings on the printer itself. I went down to 10% of the print speed. It started printing fine after I fixed it there, but I noticed while it was doing that, the filament wasn't extruding. Yeah, it wasn't going through the gear properly. The filament wasn't, and I either suspected that the gear was just not stripped, but had some like plastic lodged in it, so it was just skipping a beat, or that for some reason there was a clog in the tube. So I had taken this tube here and I pulled it out. You can actually push this down. You can push this down and the tube will come out. I won't do it now. I won't do it now because it's kind of a pain, and plus it's cold. I just got done with the print finishing last night, and I don't want to mess anything up. So after I had put the second or started the second print and put the second nozzle on, it was going through this just fine, but I noticed that on this itself, one of these metal, the heating block, some of the filament was melting out the side, and you can see it probably on the live stream where there's like it almost just like looks like black tar. It's just melted plastic that's continuously heated, so it ends up burning, and it was almost leaking off the side. Luckily, it didn't get that bad and drip all over the print. I kind of lucked out because I was at work, and I noticed that. But I got home, I replaced. I don't have it. I think I threw it away. But I replaced the nozzle properly this time, and the block. I made sure everything was heated. I took the heating element out, and it's been going awesome. Knock on wood. It's been running fine, and obviously, except for one time, the new filament I got from Amazon. I'll just put up a screen grab of the page if it's still there. It's like $20. It's PLA. It's red. It's actually really pretty. This is the other storage container. So this one, as you can tell, is short and it doesn't have the supports. Oh, and by the way, here's the shoot. I'm not sure if you can see it. You can see two walls right here, and it's like hollow in the middle. It's very thin. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, you can see that it's hollow. That's why it's brittle. Anyway, I got to work on some of the settings with very thin objects, of course, but it had stopped extruding in the middle of that, and I noticed that it worked. I told Emily to stop the stream and to just make sure the printer was either paused or stopped, so then when I got home I could figure out why. The spool of filament, the PLA, was actually sorry if it's dark. Yeah, see, that spool was actually tangled up. See how it's coming up the printer now? Right there. It runs up the printer. This is the extruder. You can't really see it, but I don't want to take the camera off the tripod. Anyway, and it runs to that. So in the middle of that, since it got tangled, it wasn't extruding. The printer thought it was still going, so what it was doing was coming across here. Nothing was coming out. Nothing was coming out. And it started raising itself, and after about like 15 minutes, I noticed that it was like up here trying to print, but nothing was coming out. So, I guess stuff like that just happens sometimes. But the other two turned out well. This one here, I didn't sand down, but I trimmed and peeled off some of the stringing that was happening here. So it actually looks, it looks sleek. But the problem with this now, I don't know what happened. It could have gotten tangled again when I was printing it. I printed this overnight. Right here. Okay, yeah, you can see it. It must have like skipped a layer, or it just didn't bind with itself, which kind of stinks. I hope that doesn't happen in the future. It could all just be the material. The printer seems to be doing awesome, but it could also be that extruder that I was having problems with, where it was skipping. There's little gear in there that rotates, and the filament gets pulled up through it, through the tube. And if there's something blocking the filament from coming through, that gear will just sit there and spin, and it'll slip because it's plastic, and it doesn't have a good grip on it. So That's definitely a possibility. But overall, I would say I mean, it's awesome. It's my first 3D printer. I'm super excited to show what else I could do with it. Um, I'm learning a ton from it. It's only my first 3D printer. Uh, Touchscreen works fine. All the parts seem to be working fine, minus the extruder, the tube. But with just a change of a heating block, nozzle, and cutting the tube down a little bit, it seems to have done the trick. I'm going to have a live stream tonight of something I decide to make. I don't know what that is, but I'll come up with something. Maybe like a fruit basket. I'm trying to do all practical prints. I mean, I don't take this as a waste at all. It showed me so much that what my printer can do, what it can't do, what I should try to avoid when choosing a 3D model. But hopefully you guys enjoy the content. I'm going to take all the suggestions I can from you. Whether it's if you guys decide that you want me to do like a figure for, like a Dungeons and Dragons thing, or like an action figure, like something I have here. I'll be willing to do it. That'll be a fun print. Yeah, I'm going to take all your guys' suggestions, and, I definitely need some help. So if you guys have any insight on 3D printing, that would be awesome. But like the channel says, I'm not an expert. So there are going to be many other projects that I decide to do outside of 3D printing, whether it's woodwork. Emily, my fiance, and we're getting into not embroidering, but she has a Cricut, and we already started doing shirts and canvases and wood designs with that, and they actually turned out really awesome. I'm going to put them on the Facebook page. Currently Gerald Studios. I'm planning on turning that page into Not an Expert as well, but we'll see from feedback. When I'm live on Twitch, sometimes I will be gaming, and I'll let you guys know what I'm doing, or if I'm designing a 3D model, things like that. We'll see. But thanks for all the support, guys. The people that are tuning into the live streams and sharing the posts that I make on Facebook. Once these YouTube videos start rolling, I think we could do some great things here. I'm actually really excited for it. And I can't wait to hear from you guys to see what else I could do, in terms of projects and things like that. So I appreciate it again. Thanks for tuning in. This is Will from Not an Expert. That sounds so weird. And have an awesome, awesome day. Bye.